games or what? Show me!
Streets of Rage is easily one of my top 5 favorite games for the Genesis. It was first released in Japan as Bare Knuckle in August of '91, followed by a North American release a month later. I can't tell you just how many hours my brother and I spent with Genesis beating the shit out of street punks and finding apples under trash cans. This game sucks you in from the very beginning with a Dirty Harry-like opening and a score that brings to mind rain-slick streets, neon lights, and hard-ass street brawling. Apparently, Rage was meant to be Sega's answer to Capcom's Final Fight. Sega already had a few beat-em-ups out, like Golden Axe and Alien Storm, but Final Fight was the flavor of the month, and it was giving Super Famicom a real edge. With Mega Drive struggling in Japan, Sega put AM7 to work on a new title they hoped would generate more interest as a console exclusive. Final Fight on Super Famicom was good, though it didn't really measure up to the arcade original. Multiplayer was removed, as was the third playable character, Guy. Since Streets of Rage was made specifically for Genesis, it didn't suffer from these limitations. Multiplayer is present, and you have a trio of ultimate badasses to play with: Adam, Axel, and Blaze. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to talk about the story. The once peaceful city of someplace I don't know has been taken over by a crime syndicate controlled by the mysterious Mr. X. The local government has been bought and paid for. Looting and random acts of violence have become routine. Adam, Axel, and Blaze, seemingly incorruptible, quit the force and decide to clean these mean streets the old-fashioned way: foot to ass. Once you've chosen your character, you need to pummel your way through 8 stages of urban hell. There's the city, the beachfront, an unfinished bridge, a boat, the factory, and much more. There's a boss for every stage except one. These bosses are ridiculous. There's Boomer, the Freddy Krueger look-alike, a WWE reject. My least favorite boss battle is Mona and Lisa. As far as I know, these bitches aren't in any way related to Blaze, but they do look a lot alike. They're an absolute pain in the ass, and you have to fight them twice. Point of fact, you have to fight every boss many times. That's something I've never liked about beat-em-ups, where you're within arm's reach of the finish line, then forced to beat bosses from previous stages. It just feels cheap. That's just me, back to the sluts. It took several beatings to figure out their weakness. The best method I've found is to face the opposite direction, then give them a taste of the backhand as they approach. That's a neat feature, I must say. Controls are very simple. B is attack, C is jump, and A is special attack. Busting heads is as satisfying now as it was in '91. Beyond punching and kicking, you can grapple with enemies, throw them over your shoulder, bash their skulls against the pavement, or backflip kick them into the next console generation. On top of all that, you have a full arsenal of weapons: bats, lead pipes, knives, beer bottles, nothing but the good stuff. The special attack is awesome. If you're in a bind, just call for backup. A blue and white pulls up and fires a projectile into the air, killing everything on screen once it lands. Unless there's a boss, of course. The graphics may not look as sophisticated as Final Fight, but they certainly get the job done. It all takes place at night, giving the Streets of Rage a stylish and moody atmosphere. The bits of rubbish that flutter in the air during the inner city stage, or the shimmering reflection of the nameless metropolis on the ocean surface while you're bopping across an unfinished bridge, these little details all work toward pulling you into the environment. This looks like something out of 48 Hours or Streets of Fire. Yes, I feel that's a good thing. It's one of the reasons I love Rage. I feel like I've been sucked into an 80s action movie. And that's pretty cool. there really isn't much more I can say about the music that hasn't been said so many times before. The score complements the on-screen action, and like any good soundtrack, it knows when to bleed into the background and when to kick out the jams. The boss fights, for example, always made my ass clench. The sound effects are great. It totally adds to my violent gratification. Hearing those deep, bass-heavy cracks to the jaw make me smile each and every time. The sound of glass shattering over some scum-sucking maggot's skull, and God, I have problems. Anyway, there's one other feature that keeps me playing over and over again. Multiple endings. There are 2 in all, and both can be accessed via single or multiplayer. When you finally reach the big bad Mr. X, he'll make you an offer. Join his syndicate or die. If you turn him down, the final confrontation will begin. If you should accept his offer, you fall through a trap door and have to replay the last few levels. And get this, they're even harder. That's kind of weird. In any other game, the good ending would require more effort, not the other way around. I guess crime doesn't pay. Aside from the addictive gameplay, sharp visuals, and sick riffs, Streets of Rage has a lot to offer. Tune in next time and we'll give the multiplayer a spin.
I don't believe what I just saw. Not only did you let those suckers get Lisa, but you forgot to subscribe to SEGAbits.com. I'm pulling the plug on you before you do any more damage.